Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. There have been many rumors about next-gen consoles and yet very little precise information about the CPUs and GPUs they're going to have. News about the PS5 have been more abundant and there have been leaks about the dev kit and the controller. However, news about next-gen Xbox, codenamed Scarlet, haven't been very abundant. We haven't seen any kind of leak about the hardware, and there are even news that developers haven't received any kind of dev kits from Microsoft. That made some people question even whether Microsoft has any kind of idea as to what the consoles would be like or the kind of performance it will have. And some media outlets went into a kind of panic mode that Microsoft will be in deep trouble and that the PS5 is ahead in everything: specs, third-party support, and availability. However, I think that all of these rumors are wrong and worth nothing due to different reasons. First, Microsoft is a big company with enough money to make anything really. Their mistakes in the Xbox One era were some choices like forcing the Kinect and investing too much on it to the degree that the base Xbox One console was much weaker than the base PS4 console. Not to forget some stupid things like harsh game sharing policies they adopted at first and the lack of compelling first-party exclusive games to make gamers want to get an Xbox One. Now that Microsoft has been buying many game studios, the latter issue is no longer a concern. The other two issues are purely marketing decisions that can be easily changed. As for the dev kits, I don't think it's an issue because console games have been developed a lot more like PC iterations thanks to the change to the x86 architecture with current gen consoles. The gap will be even narrower because next-gen consoles are said to be much more powerful and game optimization through platforms is going to be easier. And despite everything, game developers will follow money regardless of technical difficulties. The Nintendo Switch is the best and most recent example. We have seen kind of impossible ports of games that we never thought would exist in such a low-power hybrid, mostly portable console. Let us just think about things like Divinity Original Sin 2 or The Witcher 3 or Doom. These games are very big and no one thought that these kind of games would be possible to play on the go in a portable console. There have been rumors that the next-gen Xbox will have two different versions. One stronger and obviously more expensive, and another cheaper iteration that is said to have support for cloud gaming. The new Project X Cloud is another strong indication that Microsoft is into cloud gaming and that we might even see a console with cloud gaming capabilities. What even makes these rumors intensified is an article made by Jason Schreier of Kotaku. Jason Schreier is a reputable source in gaming journalism and is said to have insider sources that give him an edge as far as exclusive news are concerned. I have highlighted a few things in that article and let us discuss them. The article states what we don't know, and what likely isn't finalized yet, is how the pricing will shake out. But it is easiest to think of Anaconda as a successor to the Xbox One X and Lockhart as a successor to the Xbox One S with a similar performance disparity. Game developers will be expected to support both Anaconda and Lockhart, which some are worried might hamper their ambitions for next-gen games in the coming years. When speaking to Kotaku, one game developer briefed on Lockhart analogized it to the PlayStation 4 Pro in terms of raw graphical power. Developers briefed on Lockhart also say it has a faster CPU than any current video game console, which could allow for higher frame rates, although there are factors that might not become clear until the console is completely finalized, such as clock speed and cooling. That's actually true because the PS4 Pro suffered from a problem as far as CPU power is concerned. Its GPU was not very bad at all, but the CPU was always kind of bottlenecking and dragging it down, and we couldn't see the kind of performance that we hoped. Even in its modes in the PS4 Pro, so we have that performance mode, some games couldn't even achieve that kind of 60 FPS, and they were at uneven frame rates that are considered to be unplayable. The article continues, Microsoft's ideal target performance are said to be 4K resolution and 60 frames per second on Anaconda, and 1440p resolution and 60 frames per second on Lockhart. And he says here between quotes, that doesn't mean that every single game on these consoles will live up to that performance. It's the target that Microsoft is pushing developers to hit. And I think, again, this is a kind of big, actually a very big claim to make. 4K 60 frames per second on a console is, you can dream. I mean, the console would have to be on par with PC as far as raw performance is concerned. And that is not going to happen, because console makers are not going to think of their consoles as an alternative to PC. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, to hit 4K 60 FPS even on PC, that's kind of very difficult to have, and not all games are going to have that anyway. It is possible with a 2080 Ti. It's also possible with a 2080 of the RTX NVIDIA cards, and still not every game can deliver that. And almost all major games have a problem to hit that kind of performance, and even there are things like DLSS and upscaling methods and downsampling, etc., to have a kind of experience that is similar to 4K 60 but not quite. I think this target performance is a little bit too much. I don't know whether Jason Schreier has some solid info about it, or it's just something that he thinks of is possible, but either way it's not going to happen. I am very sure it's not. If we get something like Anaconda, which is the more powerful Xbox, to run at 1440p 60 frames per second, I think that's going to be a very good thing to do. It would be more reasonable, and it would also be looking good enough on a console, especially considering that consoles have this kind of limit of pricing. When you price your console at $600, for example, it's not going to make a lot of people thrilled to buy it, because no one is willing to shell $600 on a console, even though people put thousands of dollars on phones, but that's a different thing altogether. Anyway, that's the news that I have for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more, tell us your opinions, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one.